So a lost wallet is most likely to be returned if it contains a photo of... The answer is a baby.
Thank you very much. You're watching The Right Stuff with Radio 1 star Nihal Arthanayake, Terry Christian and Angelica Bell. In a little while, dumped over a lousy Christmas present. Was that you? What happened? What was the present? Who did the dumping? So many questions. 0207 173 5555 is the number. Don't you know it? First, though, when it comes to rewards, does size matter? Should the reward be in proportion to whatever it is that they have done for you? Yesterday, we heard how 31-year-old Stephen Foster, a 14 grand a year warehouseman, was stunned to find he'd been overpaid to the tune of £1.4 million. Instead of taking the money and going on the run, he phoned his boss, fessed up and went from skint to millionaire and back to skint again in 12 hours. And how was he rewarded for this extraordinary honesty? With £10 worth of beer. Great reward, great reward. To be fair, management have promised something special for Stephen for Christmas. A carrot, presumably. But they shouldn't feel obliged, should they? It would be nice to think that Stephen acted as any decent, law-abiding citizen would, not for personal gain. But then again, as more than half of us would pocket £100 if you found it lying about on the street, perhaps such rare displays of integrity should be handsomely rewarded. What about you? Did you find something and get a stunning reward, or naffle? If the bounty was measly, this is really the question, if the bounty was measly, would it put you off ever doing such a good deed again? Now, there's a question. Terry, I'm going to pick on you.
Well, you know, from my own point of view, you know, I'm a Latin scholar in my youth, and I always agree with Cicero that virtue is its own reward. Having said that, you see, if he was a banker and he saw an extra 1.4 million in his account, he'd think, oh, it must be my bonus. Looks about right, and richly deserved too. And, I mean, the weird thing is he works for the co-op, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, it could be, again, the co-op is a bank, and maybe they're trying to avoid losing the talent from their warehouse to Tesco's. And that's what the bankers would say. I do think it's one of those.
Have you ever... You've never had a reward, have you? You've never had a reward? Have you ever done a good turn? Have you ever...
Oh, yeah, I've done loads of good turns. But as I said, virtues is its own reward. And I do think, like, the worrying thing is, 14,000 a year is his wages. Yeah. The co-op is also a bank, so they've given him 1.4 million. So it does make you worry a little bit about them. It's like, all those notes are so confusing. Can you give it back?
What about Nihal? Have you ever been rewarded or had rewarded someone?
No, I wish, but I think this is such a great story, and the fact that he was so honest to do this, considering what you were saying, 14 grand a year, 800 grand after tax ends up in his account. The interest alone is like 30 grand a year on that. Yeah. And he just went... But then saying that, he wouldn't have been able to keep it anyway, would he?
Well, I was just... Can I be honest? Can I be honest? I mean, anyone who got 1.4 million in accounts, apart from the bankers that Terry mentioned, you'd sit there and think, you know, it's so obvious. What would have been interesting is just he'd been overpaid by £1 grand. And I'm not Stephen, we're not talking about... Just in theory, if you were overpaid by £1 grand or 500 quid, whether one would be so honest then and just think, well, maybe no one will notice it. You know that someone's going to miss 1.4 million, aren't they?
But there's a difference between finding £100 on the street and putting it in your pocket than getting 1.4 in your account, 1.4 million pounds in your account. That could change someone's life. Like,
yeah, but if that £100 you found in the street belonged to my nan, right? Yeah. It would be a miracle because, one, she's dead. But if it did belong to my nan, and she was skint and shivering in a little hovel, you would have actually had more negative impact on her life by keeping the money, perhaps, than you would robbing a company of 1.4 million.
But it'd be harder to trace... If you found that money on the street, it'd be harder to trace who...
You go to the police station and trust an honest bobby to make sure it's kept on... What are you suggesting?
But a lot of people here...
What are you suggesting? That they might keep the money?
I found...
No!
I found a tenner on the street about 2 weeks ago and I put it in my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because if I found a wallet, I would go and hand it in. I found a tenner, stopped, looked around. Is there anyone around? Right. What am I going to do? Am I going to walk up to someone and go, "Excuse me, mate, is this your tenner?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to do that. Who's going to go? Oh, that is. You know, I can do that.
It was mine. Can I have it back?
No, I'll buy some frilly.
Now, just one last thing before we go to the calls, Nihal. if you lost 100 quid and I returned it, what would be the appropriate reward if you were to reward my honesty?
A drink.
The reward would just be belief in karma.
So you wouldn't give a penny?
It would no. What you know, if it was a wallet, if it was in a wallet, if it's 100 quid, you don't know who you're going to give it to, where you're going to, you know. Why should we actually returning it if it's? It is an interesting philosophy.
Right. No. Redhead, innit?
All right, sorry. I did the word for 300. You know, I'm a charity, mate, Charlie Christian.
Right. No, I mean, I wouldn't give them anything because I mean it'd be my money.
Well, no. Why should we? A philosophical point. Why should we reward stupidity by saying, well, that's fine that you dropped your wallet. Here it is. You can be stupid again, rather than learn a lesson. In saying, well, I lost that. No, I'm just saying. This is about evolution, and this is the year of Darwin. So, should we reward stupid?
And then with 1.4 million, I think his employers should have given him a better.
They will now. It's an absolute disaster.
That's a massive amount of money to make a mistake to give someone, so they should give him something more than a credit.
Why can he not talk about it as well? Apparently, there's restrictions in his contract.
because he'll lose his £14,000 subsistence.
But there's always Tesco.
Yeah.
Now, let's throw it open to you. Rewards, does size matter, Kirsty?
Always. The answer, we've got Dominic on line 1 first.
Dominic, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Have you been rewarded for anything?
Yeah, really. I was driving along and noticed a wallet on the side of the road and picked it up. There's £200 in there.
Nice
I actually
one.
made the effort to ring her up, and she came round in a brand new Audi and handed me over a bottle of Asti Spumante. £1.99, obviously a cast off from a barbecue or whatever. Yeah, thank you very much.
Would you have rather she gave you nothing?
Well, £200. I wish I'd have kept the money and chucked the wallet in the hedge.
Would you do it again, Dominic? Would you, if you saw the purse again, you found a number in it, would you make the call?
Yeah, I probably would have done, actually, yeah.
That's because you're a good guy, Dominic. Thank you very much. Nice call.
Jackie on line 2.
Jackie, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Have you been rewarded?
No, I haven't been rewarded.
Go on, what have you found?
I found a wallet with £200 in it.
Is everyone throwing £200 in their wallets away? Okay, anyway, so you found the wallet, 200 quid in it.
I handed it in, get bar, and I asked them would they announce it to the DJ.
Yeah.
They did eventually. The lady had her money back. I went back to the bar to make sure because they seemed to be taking a long time. And I didn't even get so much as a thank you. And honestly, that's all I would have wanted was thank you very much.
Well. Now...
Was she a relative of Nihal?
Would you, Jackie, would you do it again?
Yes, I would. I really would, because if it was my money, I would be over the moon if somebody found my
Okay,
lost money.
and if they found £200 of yours, your purse, and let's not forget there's credit cards in there, maybe your keys, all the hassle you'd have to do, changing the locks, notifying the banks. In fact, notifying the banks is a real pain. What would you reward the person who found your purse for £200?
I must be honest, if I had nothing on me, only money at the time, I would be more than happy to give them £5 or £10 because it would be really worth it.
Okay. OK, good. Yeah. Nice one, Jackie. Thank you very much.
You know, it's nice of those callers.
By the way.
Sorry?
Love your show.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, hey, that is the correct answer. Let me just find out what drop my microphone and actually have nothing on me again. It's probably because I left my wallet with 200 quid on the street.
Those callers are really nice.
Quid.
Huh?
30 quid, I think, 200 quid, you know what I mean? I'd weigh in for 30 quid.
Really?
Yeah, so I lost £200 and you give it back.
I believe in karma, though. I think that when you do a good turn, something comes back. And it's not about necessarily
having... I have a great tale. Just over about a year and a half ago, wake up on Saturday morning, go outside to get on my motorbike. Motorbike has been stolen. Oh. OK? I was sitting around thinking, oh, what a pain. I'm going to go down to the police station. It's easier to go down to the police station than call them because you never get through. So I'm just sort of getting myself together, breakfast. Phone rings. Pick up the phone. It's a motorcycle garage. A guy has seen a motorbike being driven around his estate by yobs. He manages to clock the number plate and see that there's the name of a garage on the back. He calls this garage Metropolis in South London. It's worth a plug. They went through their records, found out that I was the owner of the bike. They got in touch with me, put me in touch with the guy that's seen it. I go down to see this bloke. He's got my motorbike. He's chased the thieves off. The bike's in perfect condition, and I ride it home. My bike was lost and returned in under 90 minutes.
What did you give it?
100 quid.
Oh.
And by had to force him to take it. And you know the other thing is, you know, how looks can be deceiving. This guy was about 6'6", a proper sort of Hell's Angel look-alike. You'd cross the road in order to avoid him, and he was generous, caring, and didn't want them out. He forced him to have it. Lovely people out there. Now, nice little story, isn't it? And just think, on the other side, some people are watching Jeremy Kyle. Life is, it's a cruel world. It's a cruel world.
Less and less people, to be fair.
Yes, true enough, actually. Now, after the break, were you dumped for giving a lousy Christmas present? 1 in 3 women, 1 in 3, say they'd kick a bloke into touch if their gift failed to impress. Would a guy act the same way? Of course not. 0207 173 5555 is the number for your stories of rubbish prezzies and broken hearts. What kind of gift is so appalling it warrants a dumping? You tell me in 3.
Bright women are more likely to dump a lover over a bad present than their dimmer sisters. Is this true or is it false? Find out in 3.